What is up, guys? It's Mr. Deity, and let's get started on part 3 of the guide. So when you first log in, obviously go and claim anything that you can. Again, this account is already logged in multiple days because I'm trying to play it to get ahead. Not really working too great. I'm going to try to cover everything in this video as fast as possible so you guys don't have a super long video like we keep doing. I know you guys want shorter videos, but grab all your stuff that you can. If you already played a little bit, get your Arky 7-day stuff and then do your first promotion. Any of that, I'll only claim up to day 3 on any of this, which looks like we don't have any day 3 anyway, which is fine. Claim some penguins, and then we have our third 6-star, which was our Tenebria, Spectre Tenebria. And then looking at hunt challenges, one of our first goals that we're going to be doing is getting our promotion attack set. If you have not got this, go get some more spirit blooms. I've shown you how to do that. You need to farm unrecorded history. That attack set is going to be great. So let's go ahead and grab our tech set and then grab any of the extra stuff that we've gotten throughout this. This is 7-day login, and this is 3rd day login. This HP set, once you've logged in for 3 days, you will be getting this HP set. So go ahead and grab it and then come in here and lock it. So this is going to be your Wyvern front tank HP set. We are going to be building a makeshift Wyvern team today and starting toward working to our actual Wyvern team. And then this attack set gear is actually very, very good early game gear that we're going to utilize. So go ahead and lock it as well. And then we're going to go ahead and do our daily summons. So our overall goal is actually mostly to get the 3-star character Mui or a character that we could utilize in Wyvern. Hopefully we've gotten that. Also, we have our story summon that we've been working on. So as you see here, I'm getting close to pity. I'm just going to start with my summons on this. Go ahead and rip. See if we get, all right, so there is a 5-star. Hopefully we get either the artifact, which would help with Wyvern 2, or we will get a Slayer. We got the artifact, so I'm going to start. So that is going to go on our Furious, and also this is why I'm having you summon. Again, trying to get us Muis. You don't have to be summoning right now. You can just skip out and save all your resources. It's not a bad thing. It's going to be really efficient, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the extra 5. Hopefully we get a Slayer. If you get the artifact, you keep going. If you get the character, you stop. That is the general rule of summoning on any banner. Okay, if you have not gotten its area, our goal is to, if we ever open a banner, we go all the way to pity. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to buy a galaxy bookmark, and then I'm also going to talk about the shop real quick. So your transmit stone shop, every single week you want to buy this out, especially the ego fragments early on. These blue boxes are fantastic. These artifact charms are good. The right side charms for accessories are great. But I'm going to go ahead and buy all this that I can, and I was able to buy out the shop. Buying at the shop comes from selling 3-star penguins. So 3-star penguins, you get 1 transmit stone. Later in the game, you're going to end up selling characters because they're all going to be triple S imprinted. Whenever they're all triple S imprinted, you will be able to sell them and get a bunch of transmit stones. They become very, very easy later. Now we have our daily free summons. You guys should probably still have 32. I only have 20 because, again, this account is logged in a different amount of days just for guide creation purposes. So going in, no 5 stars for the day, that is fine. And then we can do 1 more summon for Moonlight. So let's do our 2 Moonlight summons and see if we get anything. And then we'll do our regular summons, and I'll tell you where to go from there. So go ahead, we'll rip a blue summon, 4-star. I will go over a list of characters for your first makeshift Wyvern team. And then if you do not have the characters, the Wyvern part will kind of be optional. Maybe if you don't have the characters, wait a few days, then come back to this part. But we want to try to clear Wyvern 13 at least one time and get our Wyvern team started. Again, it's not a big deal. We're not going to be farming Wyvern until we are further into the guide anyway. So you don't have to utilize or do any of the things that I do today. All right, so all the back-to-back Penelopes. I think I got that on the other account too. Moonlight summons have been a little weird. I feel like I'm getting a lot of duplicates of the same thing back to back. So there's another 3-star. Can I get a 4-star at least? Another 3-star. Another 3-star. Come on. Another 3-star. And please, can I have a 4 or 5-star? No, that's fine. Okay. So those are our daily summons. Now go ahead and make sure you're doing all your daily stuff for your Goblin Pass. Like always, go and do all the daily stuff that I went over in the last video. Okay, I put a daily routine that you go through and make sure you finish all of those things. And then next up, I want you to go ahead and do your 10 Goblin runs, because if we get any kind of gear that could be good for Goblin, then we want to utilize it, right? So with the Epic Dash Pass, go ahead and claim this. And now I think all our dailies are done. We're up to rank 24. We can grab this. Don't utilize any resource that you do not know what to do with it. So it's a bottle of knowledge. It's for upgrading artifact. Generally, these are used on limited artifacts, so you do not need to use that yet. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and I'll go ahead and grab this. So we have our quick battles and everything that we can grab. Next up, what I want you guys to do, again, at the end of last video, I said farm on recorded history. As you see right here, I'm farming it in the background. I want you to make sure your Spectre Sabria is level 60 because the Grace of Growth will fully open. We also went and maxed upgraded cigarette skills, meaning that our Grace of Growth is fully finished now, which is great. That is the key part for the beginning of this episode of the guide. From here, what I want you to do is go to your hero list and obviously clean up your hero list. Make sure everything, you sort by name, feed any character with the same name into each other to raise imprints. When you get triple S imprint characters, you're going to be getting bookmarks back. So one of the characters you can go to see this for the first time is going to be your Raz. Your Raz, you're going to memory imprint. You have gotten the items from clearing all the content that we have cleared up to this point. So you can go in and you can feed all of them into him, and once you get triple S on him, you're going to get you'll get this mission pop up, unlock a devotion skill SSS with a hero. You have a bunch of these that you can do as you keep triple S'ing multiple characters. You're going to end up getting a ton of bookmarks. That's where a lot of our early game bookmarks come from. Any of you that did decide to go along with me and summon on a side story, the reason we are summoning on a side story is because we get so many bookmarks as a new player. Doing one side story will not make a difference. There's 32 bookmarks there. Okay, summoning on one side story will not make a difference in our overall progression. You get enough to pity 3 characters with just Covenant bookmarks in the first 3 weeks of playing the game. If you are summoning, if you do the summon like I do, you will have enough for anything that is possibly coming up that we're going to summon on. Also, none of the banners are worth summoning on outside of a story summon banner. If there's a specific character you want, we do want to just have a Sari on our account. It's a very good thing. It will just make us have more options for clearing PV. I'll claim the rest of that stuff later. But what I want you to do once you go through, once you make inventory, if your storage has characters in it, then you can move these characters over from your storage into your regular thing and continue feeding to try to get more triple S to get more bookmarks. Now that we're in the hero menu though, I want you guys to click grade and then water and then knight. Okay, if you have any 4 or 5 star knights right now, if you have Brie especially, he's a 5-star. He's a character that you do get for free. I'm going to be taking him on the selector ticket on all these accounts because we get 9 selector tickets. I'll be using a non-decked out selector on him if I am not able to get him by that point. But if you do not have Brie, you can use Crozet, Rose, Crow, or Tywin. Those 4 are the main, I think they're the only ones. Those 4 characters, Crozet, Rose, Tywin, or Crow. Okay, those 4 characters, that will be your Grace of Growth character. So I have Crozet, so I will go ahead and do that. If you do not have any of those characters, you can come down and you can do Angelica. There's also the option of Montmorency, but you need to do a lot of extra work for Montmorency. We are going to be building her later in the guide, but this is last resort. You will come down and you will use either Angelica or Montmorency. On the stream guide account, I use Angelica. It works the same. It doesn't matter who this character is. They are a placeholder character until we decide what our final Wyvern front tank is going to be for the beginning long-term portion of the game. So since I have Crozet, I'm going to go ahead and go into Hero. And I'm going to go to Grace of Growth, and then we're going to register Hero. Again, with Grace of Growth, never buy this right side one unless they change it, but as of right now, do not buy it because it is only available for 30 days. You spend 1,500 Sky Stones to have a character for 30 days maxed out, and then it goes back to normal. Not worth it in any capacity, okay? Do not do that. Now that we are here, let's go ahead and go to whatever character that I just went over that you have of the tanks or Angelica, and then register them. Once you register them, now you have your Wyvern front tank good to go. He is fully decked out, just like the character selector decks. But the thing is, with Grace of Growth, you can take him off of it, and then 3 days later, Grace of Growth will be available again to put anybody you want, and this will stay permanently. I could never change my Grace of Growth, and this will always be maxed out for the rest of my account if I wanted to. The goal is, if we do this, we don't have to commit to anything. We don't have to. It's just nice, okay? There's no commitment. Now, whenever you do your Crozet, you have multiple options as for what to put as his artifact. So this increases defense of all allies and increases boss damage. Steadfast Gatekeeper is fantastic. Another great option is Aureus because it makes your overall consistency of your runs better in case the Wyvern attacks one of your other characters or the front part of Wyvern attacks somebody else. Aureus is great too. I'm just going to go ahead and throw a Steadfast Gatekeeper on him though for now, and then we're going to go to manage equipment, and that set that we just got for day 3 login, go ahead and throw it on him. Okay, go through, slap it on, and you're good to go. That is your gear for him. You will not need to do anything else. It's super simple. Now go ahead and the sword, upgrade it. I usually only upgrade to like +6 if it hits. Yeah, so I'll just upgrade it to +6. That's fine. The sword doesn't matter. The helmet does matter. The minimum we want to do the helmet is going to be 12. We do want to +15 it. Again, the chest is also important. Your front tank is just there to take a bunch of attacks, and that's it. Just get hit a bunch and survive as long as possible. Okay, there are multiple reasons that we try to utilize tanks instead of using other characters like Soul Weavers. It's overall just for speed and efficiency of doing this. But it really doesn't matter your Wyvern front tank if people say use Momo or, oh, you're using this character, you're breaking your account. It does not matter, guys, who you use for your Wyvern front tank. Okay, Wyvern front tank, though, becomes overall top priority of gear upgrading. And once we get past this, then you can move the gear to other characters. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to upgrade. As you see, that took most of my charms, but there we go. Now we have 26,000 HP on this character, and we haven't even upgraded this all the way. I'll just upgrade it because we can utilize this gear on another character if we need to. So now that's putting us at almost 28,000 HP without an upgraded artifact. I'm going to upgrade the artifact to +9. This should be more than enough to ever have to worry about it. I'll feed the second Steadfast too, just for cleaning up sake. So that puts us at almost 28k HP. I'll tell you right now, your Crozet ain't dying. Okay, you're chilling. Next up, we are going to go ahead and look at our team composition. Here, go to your team composition. And as you see, I have 4 teams. If you missed that part of the guide last time, go down to where my face cam is at the bottom, and there's the option to add team. Okay, add your teams. You can click it. The first 2 cost gold, then starts costing sky stones. It's overall super cheap. Everyone who plays this game is going to end up with 10 characters or 10 teams. Okay, I think it's 10. Yeah, I think it's 10 teams. So this is the Wyvern team that we have, though. Okay, now we need to go boost up all these characters. And if you do not have Mui, this is where it gets a little challenging. What I did for the guide account without Mui was I went ahead and used the 3-star character Alexa. And with Alexa, I will just link that portion. If you do not have Mui, I'll link that portion that you guys can watch of the live stream, and I'll give you the timestamp of it. I know it sucks. Your first Wyvern team, again, this is optional. You don't even have to do this at this point if you do not have Mui. You can just skip to the next part of the guide and then come back and do this once you get him. But it is nice to do this just in case we're trying to target the art or the summons. I'll show you real quick. We're trying to target the summons from the Hunt Expert Challenge for Wyvern. And we also need it to clear the next portion of the mission. So technically, you're probably going to want to do this regardless. But either way, I'll put that link down if you guys have Alexa. If you don't have Alexa, though, there are a couple other options. I'll go real quick. But our goal is to clear Wyvern 13 one time. Just for one, it's going to make us feel good. It's going to make you feel like you are learning about the game once you beat it for the first time. Second off, it is going to, just in case we get the character Brieg from those summons, we know we don't need to grab him from the selector. And if we get anything else good, maybe it'll change our selector options. But the more of these early game bookmarks we get before getting to the selectors, we can make better decisions as a player as to what we are grabbing. That is the overall early first goal of Wyvern 13. Now, if you do not have Mui, again, the 3-star character Alexa, I guess I can show her in the journal real quick for those of you guys that don't know what she looks like. Let's go ahead and show her this. That is Corinne. That is going to be another option, but I'm going to go over that. If you do use Alexa, no, you don't need to go do her specialty change or anything like that. She's a placeholder character until you get Mui. Mui is amazing. Go ahead and go over. Mui's amazing because he gives combat readiness to your team every time your front tank character gets hit, meaning that you can build your character slower. So any kind of character for Wyvern that lowers your overall gear requirement is amazing, because you can use whatever gear you want at that point. So Mui gives a combat readiness. Combat readiness equals speed, essentially. It's the easy way to think of it. Every time your front tank gets hit, your characters boost up 30% on the bar, meaning they will take more turns without having speed on their builds, which is very, very good. The next thing, the reason we are using the character Furious, if we look at him now, Furious gives defense break, which is amazing. Furious also gives increased critical hit chance, which gives you extra 50 crit chance. All you need on blue characters is 85 crit chance for Wyvern, meaning that you only need 35 crit chance on your build. Granted, most of us are going to have 50 to 60 on all our builds at worst case scenario, but this just makes it to where you do not have to worry about your overall stat line on your Wyvern. As long as you have enough effectiveness and the proper characters, it makes it super, super easy. And I will go over all the Wyvern mechanics and things as we're fighting it. Now, other characters that you can do for this first clear is going to be a Corinne. Corinne isn't great though. She has no debuffs besides defense break, which the problem is we already have defense break. We want a wide variety of debuffs. Another character that can be used is Clarissa. Clarissa is very good. She's a 4-star character, but you don't want to utilize any 4-star characters for Wyvern or 5 stars. The reasoning being that you don't want to use Mologora. Okay, so if you look at all the characters, let's go to Furious, for example. If you go to Furious, the problem with Furious is he takes Mologora. He is a 10 Mologora enhancement hero. We want to get to the turn cooldown and the effect chance up, meaning that this right here is a 9 Mologora investment, and this is a 1 Mologora investment. You want this 1 turn cooldown. That is the general rule of any PvE character, is you want their effectiveness increases on usually their skill 3 and skill 2. Skill 1 you can ignore. Generally, if you do it, it just makes it a little more consistent, but you shouldn't need it at all. But it's almost always for PvE characters is turn cooldown and your effect chance. That is the same with PvP characters, but PvP damage dealers always are plus 15 generally. So those are, but Mologoras, again, try not to use 4 stars because these things are very rare. I know some of you may have a bunch of them on your account, but for a general player or playing efficiently, you should not have any Mologora on your account whatsoever. Okay, so what I want you to do now that you selected your 4 characters for your team, whatever ones that I've gone through, if you have any questions, the Discord server, copy and paste a picture of your team and ask, will this work? People will tell you why not. People will tell you if it will. Also the builds once we get to the building portion. But the first thing I want you to do now is go and awaken all those characters. So we're going to go ahead and level up our Furious, and you want them all 5-star, okay? Our only characters that need to be 6-star are going to be our Sigret, which we've already done, and we fully skilled her up, so she is going to be a Wyvern monster. Next up, though, your Mui, your backline. What if you have to do a different damage dealer than Mui? Then you do not need those 2 characters 6-starred. Okay, so let me go ahead and go to Mui. We're going to level him up. We're going to promote him to 5-star. That's all. And you do not need to 6-star these characters early on. If you honestly never need to 6-star them, to be fair. But if you do decide to, again, it just adds a little bit more damage and consistency to your team. But we should be overall consistent enough that we don't need to care about it. I've never 6-starred Mui or Furious on any account for any reason. So you do not need to do that. Now, that Mui is this. Here, we need to go and do our awakening. So our goal is to awaken them all the way up to 5-star awakening. You can get away with 4-star awakening if you want to try, but just put the time in. If you have Mui especially, put the time and get him 5-star awaken, get your Furious 5-star awaken, get your Sigret 6-star awaken. Okay, that is your current goal. I'm going to stop this video in a second after I show a couple more things, and I want you to have your team looking like mine will whenever I come back to the video. Okay, right here we have a 4-star awaken, and then we're going to need some catalysts. So you look here, we need some Raking Carapace, we need 9 of them. So I'll have to go grab those after this. Also, if you have any Muis, you can go ahead and memory imprint them as well. This memory imprint is, I believe, effectiveness, which is really nice. I don't know if I'll turn it on yet. It's going to depend on the overall gear, but yeah, it gives them self-effectiveness. If you have a triple S 18 effectiveness, you only need 65 on the build. So that's most of your effectiveness covered right there. Now, Furious, same thing. We want to awaken him to 5-star. We do have everything we need for that. So he is a quick one. The thing is, you get all the Ultra Fangs from doing the Sirmia missions for Golem that I showed before, getting the extra free HP set. So go ahead and do this, fully boosted. And then our Sigret, we will need to 6-star awaken. So we have a challenge right now in the Adventurer's Path of what I stopped you guys all on. You may have already finished it with a different character, that's fine. But you do want to 6-star awaken your Sigret anyway. And that will just give you more progression towards your other hunt challenge quests. You have to 6-star 2 characters for each one to get some of the currency and challenges complete on that. But now our Furious is done. Next up, we have our Sigret. fully 6-star her. The reason I won't do that for this right now, I'll do it when I'm off camera, but right here we would need to awaken a 6-star hero one time. This will complete this challenge. Next up, we need to win 20 arena battles. Hopefully you guys are doing your arena. Keep up with your arena, keep doing your auto battles, and just try to climb. Your normal story clearing team should be obliterating arena. Occasionally you lose a fight, it's okay. If you lose a fight here or there, just overall, as long as you're winning most of them, and the story team will win most fights. Okay, then we are getting to this part right here, and that is why we're building the Wyvern team, as well as trying to get all the summons to see if we can get Brieg or another character that could be good for our account. So now that we're here, go ahead and go do all the boosting I just did, and then we'll come back. I will show you how to gear them, and then I'll walk you through all the runs for clearing, or how to build, and then how to beat Wyvern. Okay, so meet me back here once you get your story team or your Wyvern team a little bit more geared up. Okay, now that you've done all of that upgrading, I want you to come in and I want to explain the paths here. So I did not talk about this for arena. Every day that you do 5 attacks, you're going to be getting more and more upgrades on your season pass for the arena season. You can buy arena season upgrades with Skystones. Do not recommend doing this, okay? But as long as you are doing 5 per day, you will be upgrading that. So keep doing your arena fights, but I wanted to make sure you guys go in and do this challenge that was complete 20 arena battles. Okay, if you need to spend Sky Stones to do a couple more fights, it's fine. 30 Sky Stones for more fights. You're going to be getting so many Sky Stones back from arena. The higher in arena you are at the end of the week, the more Sky Stones you get. That's going to be your main source of free-to-play Sky Stones, is your arena ranking. Okay, that's why PvP, technically, arena is a type of PvP. It is very important. Now that you've gotten to this part that is clear, Wyvern 10 times. We're going to go ahead and receive all this. This ring is very important, okay? This ring, it makes it to where we can save some resources, go in and lock this ring immediately. And I want you guys to do your goblin farming as well. All right, go do your goblin farming, and so that way you have some extra gear to work with whenever we're building our first team. Now we're going to be butchering our story team for clearing this. So while we're doing this, you're not going to be able to really do anything else in the game until we're done with it, okay? But once you commit to doing this, just know that. Now, we're going to go ahead and go in, and I'm going to actually go to the shop. Hopefully you guys have farmed more labyrinth coins than me. I only have 2,000. You guys should have way more, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy 8 of each of the types of charms, because we are likely going to need to upgrade some gear during this section. And then again, hopefully you guys have been farming your unrecorded history for the left side charms. We've already upgraded our Wyvern front tank. We actually over upgraded him, so you don't need 29,000 or whatever HP I have on him. But now we're going to go in to hero, and we're going to go ahead and build our first Wyvern team. So with our first characters, I always, with Cigarette, we go ahead, and these are all Daydream Joker characters, okay? So I always go by max enhance. That's how I keep my stuff cleaned up. And our Cigarette, we want our Cigarette to be leveled up to usually around plus 18 at the minimum for the first clearing. You'll upgrade this. The more you upgrade your Daydream Jokers, the better off you're going to be, okay? So let's go ahead and upgrade our Cigarette Daydream Joker to plus 7. And then the whoever damage dealer, if you have Mui, he's Daydream Joker. If you have Alexa, they're also Daydream Joker. Whoever your second damage dealer is going to be a second Daydream Joker. So we're going to go ahead and just level this up as far as we can. It's not a huge deal if you can't get up too high. So that's plus 15. That's good to go. Lastly, we have our Furious. Okay, so Furious, the reason we were summoning on the Asteria banner, if you did not get a Song of Stars artifact, go ahead and use Daydream Joker. If you did get lucky and get a Song of Star artifacts, as you see, I got 2 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my Song of Star artifact. We do not need, I'll keep 2 separate copies for now, but we'll likely just feed the copy into each other. By feeding more copies in and limit breaking it, it just makes it to where, as you see here, the 60% chance, you can raise it even higher. But as you see what I am talking about with artifact charms, we're already out of them, okay? We're already out of artifact charms. There are a bunch of ways we can go get some if we need some here, but this will give us target, which gives us an additional debuff for the Wyvern. Now we have our exclusive equipments for both our Cigarette and our Crozet now, or sorry, our Cigarette and our Furious, now that we are to the point where we have 5-star awaken them. So we're going to go in. Our Cigarette exclusive equipment that we are wanting to get is going to be the, wait, where's Cigarette? Did I pass her? Okay, Cigarette's a warrior. There she is. We want to get the after activating smash, the health condition changes. Okay, so I can only buy 2 right now. I'll show you where to get more of this currency. So we got it on the first go, but it's a low attack one. So if you hover over it, you can get between 7 and 14. 8% is basically a minimum. If you guys don't have a lot of currency, you don't have to buy until you get this one. You can just buy one for the start, but that is the overall one you're going to end up wanting to get. I will show you guys how to craft for them later. But if you go down into the Hunt Expert Challenge, you can see from the Awakening portion, you can get more of the currency here, and you can get more of the currency from each individual different type of one that you do. And here's some artifact charms too. So if you need to upgrade your artifacts a little bit more, there you go. And right here, we have bought all of our things. So we go ahead and claim that. If you are upgrading Sigrid, by the way, you can grab these to get her final awakening. You do not need to go and use boxes on her. It gives you everything you need to 6-star awaken your Sigrid. I probably should have showed that before you guys did it, but you can just use this for a different character now if you've already done it the quote-unquote inefficient way. Also, with the awakening, once you do all these awakenings, you will be getting this potion. You do not have to rush to use this potion. I will show you where I am using it as we continue along with the guide. So once you're done with this, let's go ahead, and we did get the EE that we wanted for Sigrid, so we'll just stop, but just do 1 or 2 on each, and if you don't get the one you want, just take whatever the highest attack percentage one is for now. And then for the Furious one, the one that I probably want the most is the decreased hit chance, because that keeps you alive longer. Makes it to where no matter who your front tank or what your gear is, more likely to survive. But the quick draw burn effect one is okay too. But I really don't care which one Furious gets. Okay, I got the perfect one both times, so we're not going to talk about it, okay? I got the one I wanted both times. That will not happen to most of you guys, but it's fine. It's not going to make a difference doing this. Don't worry. Don't get discouraged. Okay, but now go ahead and go throw these on. Again, if you do not have Song of Stars from doing this Assyria side story, maybe you got Assyria and didn't get Song of Stars summoning. It is fine. Just use your third Daydream Joker on him instead of Song of Stars. Okay, now that we're done with this, we're going to be gearing these characters. So the first character we're going to gear is our Sigrid. With Sigrid, we just put our highest damage gear that we currently have on her, which is going to be our T-area set if we are new players. So if you're a new player following my guide, you're going to have the T-area set for now. So just go ahead. This way we don't have to upgrade any extra gear because we are just beating Wyvern one time for now. And then later in the guide, I'll come back and I will show you guys how to do the proper final building to where you will never need to worry about messing with the Wyvern team again. So the thing with Sigrid here is she is fast and she has over 100 crit chance. The thing is you can go way less crit chance. So if you have an attack percent boot, it's not a bad thing. You do not need the speed as long as you have Mui. But for just overall everybody else, let's just do it the same way. We're going to build a way different Sigrid whenever it is time to properly start farming. Next up, we have our Mui. We do want as much damage on Mui, but we also want some effectiveness. Instead of building Mui first, let's build Furious, okay? So with Furious, we will likely go take that speed main stat boot that we just grabbed and put on Sigrid, but we're going to first off put this effectiveness ring on him, then sort through your goblin gear, or you could put this. If you put this, we're already at 37% effectiveness. That's really all we need. But with the goblin gear, if you have anything that has effectiveness, if it's HP percent, if it's it doesn't, Furious isn't there for damage, so anything that has some effectiveness of goblin gear is going to be overall pretty good. So this does have effectiveness, but the other stats aren't great. But since this is hit set, let's just go ahead and use it since I know we'll all have it. But from right here, this is the thing. We're probably going to want to go ahead and just actually take this because we want our Furious to be faster than all the other characters. And then from here, we want to do speed set, meaning we're going to go ahead and grab this from the T area farming. And we're going to go grab the helmet off our Spectre Tenebria. Or if you have another, again, goblin piece of gear, you can try to utilize that. But just grab this. And then for the chest, we're probably going to grab Spectating Chest that has effectiveness. So you see we're already at 47 effectiveness and we're 213 speed. So go ahead and do this. Now from here, we can upgrade the ring. Let's just go to +9. That's honestly as high as we need to go. Now that we're at 28 effectiveness on that, we're at 65. So bang, we're already done. And that's with gear that we all will have. Easy, easy. Furious, good to go. You can upgrade this a little bit if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, the reason we're using Crozet, I always suggest Crozet as your white front tank, but it doesn't matter who you use. But with using Crozet, since he is so squishy, he only has 600 defense and 800 HP. The thing with Crozet is now, if one of the front mobs attack your Furious, it would normally kill him, but Crozet will keep him alive with his passive by giving him a barrier, which is really, really, really helpful. So now let's go back up to Cigarette. So with Cigarette, if you have to, you have multiple options here. You have an attack percent piece like this from Goblin. You can just slap it on. You can break up the set. All that matters is your overall stats at the end. So if you have any attack percent, doesn't matter the set from Goblin. It's super free to upgrade, cheap to upgrade, and that will give us the stat needed. If you do not have an attack percent Goblin piece, not a big deal. You can go ahead and upgrade one of these pieces of boots. I would say do the one with effectiveness over the login daily one. So one of the ones with effectiveness that comes from the hunt challenges, do this upgrade. But since I have this, I'm going to go ahead and use one of these that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and enhance this boot up to plus 15. It takes 3 charms, and this is the power of Goblin Gear early. So that upgraded terribly. We didn't get any attack or any effectiveness, which sucks. So this one has crit damage. This one also is terrible. And since it doesn't matter, let's just throw it on. It'll be perfect for us to beat everything we need to. Lastly, we have our Mui. Okay, so our Mui is just going to go on the additional whatever gear we have already upgraded. Looking here, if you again have any attack percent pieces from Goblin, you can go ahead and level it up and throw it on. It's going to be the cheapest. You just want the max attack percent you can, or effectiveness. We do want effectiveness on Mui. So you see here we have currently 6. The thing is, this ring right here does have effectiveness. This ring also has a little effectiveness. You don't have to reach any kind of, you want to get as close as you can, but if you don't reach the effectiveness threshold, you'll be fine. I did get this piece. We also had this piece as effectiveness. We may use this piece. Any Goblin Gear with effectiveness, our goal again is 65% on him. Okay, so I will probably just use this piece. If you do not have another piece you could do this piece here, but we're just gonna be broken set. Everything's gonna be in a disaster. So any Goblin Gear with effectiveness, even this piece, actually let's do this piece. This piece has effectiveness and crit chance, crit damage, and then any Goblin Gear that has effectiveness. Again, otherwise you can go ahead and go over to, actually there are no helmets that give effectiveness that you get for free early, so your helmet really doesn't matter. But if you do have a Goblin piece, that is your go-to, but I have none. Okay, so I have no Goblin piece, meaning that let's just try to take one that's upgraded already on someone. Actually, I don't have any. So since I don't have any, let's see if we have any kind of damage one. This one is decent damage, so I may just do it. This one also decent damage. We would rather have crit damage than crit chance, so because Furious is going to be giving us crit damage. But as you, hopefully as you're seeing here, this is a disaster. This has crit damage and effectiveness. This is a great Goblin piece that we could use. Otherwise, it doesn't. You can use any other piece that you get along the way. You can use any of this attack set gear, guys. You can go put them on 4-piece attack set, but just try to get 65 effectiveness. And I'm having you do it this way versus giving you a guaranteed just build this super easy. I want you guys to get used to looking at your different stats on your characters, okay? Or different stats on gear before you go any further. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go grab this. Why not? And then for the necklace you can upgrade anything. Again, Goblin Gear, if you have it with effectiveness and attack, it would be fine. This has crit damage, but its crit chance main stat doesn't add a lot of value because we already have the crit chance needed. One thing is this piece does have effectiveness, so this T70 piece we do get for free. And this one doesn't have effectiveness, but this one does. But for the sake of this, let's just say let's use this because we're going to use it on our Spectre Tenebria here in a second once we get done with this portion. Okay, so as you see, this is a disaster of a set. The only thing we have is HP set, but the overall stat line is what matters. So I'm just going to go ahead and change here. You can go buy another effectiveness ring, but for this first clear, just trust me. It's going to be super, super easy. And there we go. That gave us an extra 6. That puts us at 34 effectiveness. Right here, we get no effectiveness guaranteed. I'll just max it up. That gave us a ton of extra crit damage, which is nice. Our chest, let's hope we get some effectiveness on the chest. We did. There's 18. Ooh, that rolled actually really good. 85 for a Goblin Gear. Very nice. That puts us at 44 effectiveness. That's going to have to be good enough, okay? So right here, we'll go ahead and upgrade this to, I mean, we're going to need to upgrade this anyway. Let's slap it up to plus 12. This is going to go on our Spectre Tenebria after this fight. Well, 1 HP, but that's okay. And then the ring, we'll just go to plus 12 on it. We don't need to go any further. We may end up selling this ring. It goes HP again. So our Mui only has 44 effectiveness. It's going to have to work, okay, guys? Now, from here, what I need you guys to do is do some skill enhancements, okay? More skill enhancements. Again, what I told you before, your number one goal on most of your characters is the effect chance and the turn cooldowns. So right here, effect chance. And the thing with 3-star characters, the reason why Mui's also fantastic for Wyvern is he doesn't take Mologora, meaning it's just Catalyst. It's not a big deal. So from here, if you want to get effect chance on the S1, we need 7 catalysts. From here, we don't need to worry about the skill 2. You can just do the basic early skill 2 ones that don't take any catalysts. And then the skill 3, we're also going to need another 7 catalysts. We don't need the last one for right now. If you want to min-max your Wyvern team later, you can boost all these skills to get more damage. But for right now, our overall goal is I need 14 of these sharp spearheads. Now, I'll show you where to get some sharp spearheads. First off, you always have the option to go in and use your boxes. Okay, so I have 11 boxes. Now with sharp spearheads, we need 14. Let's just grab 7 of them from here. Okay, you're going to get a ton more boxes. Don't stress about it. The second way is go to side story, unrecorded history. From here, you can go into adventure and you can trade in your action points for them. Okay, so I have 2,000 action points because I've been farming some off stream. And we need sharp spearheads, and I got 7, so I need 7 more. And that is now done. I believe Furious also needs sharp spearheads though. So going out of this, let's finish up our Mui, and then we're going to do Furious. After Furious, we're already done. We're good to go in and beat up Wyvern. So we have all our builds we need, and we're good to go. This has 50 crit chance. Your overall goal, again, for Wyvern is 85 crit chance. If you're trying to build some other kind of team from what I'm doing, your overall goal is always 85 crit chance. Now going in, I'm going to go and back to skill enhancements. And from skill enhancements, we will put this up to our +4, and then we will put the other one up to +4 as well. That way we have the max effect chance that we can have on it, creating the most consistency we can do. Next step, we need to do our Furious. Now, if you are also, again, if you do not have Mui, you don't need to be upgrading your skills. That character, you want to try to beat it without upgrading the skills whatsoever. Okay, that is the gamble of trying to do Wyvern early without Mui. Don't want to waste resources because any of those characters you would build would not be used elsewhere. Okay, actually for this, we need our Twisted Fangs. Okay, so we need a lot of Twisted Fangs, and this is going to take mullets, so we need 10 mullets. So we need 1, 3, 8, 16 Twisted Fangs, guys. Okay, I'm going to teach you one thing real quick now. With the Alchemist Steeple, we want to go ahead and go into it, go to crafting materials, and, go to Catalyst. Okay, with Catalyst, go to Rare Catalyst, and now we're going to go down to the Catalyst that we want, which is Twisted Fang. Click on it, and then you can trade in these armbands and these if you are farming Unrecorded History Stage 30. These are going to be our universal, just use them as many as you want to trade in to get more of the catalysts you want, because farming Stage 30, we're going to have a billion of them over time from farming it. Those are the catalysts you don't worry too much about. So we needed 16, we just got 8 of them. So now we're going to go back to Unrecorded History and buy the rest of them. So go into here, go to Unrecorded History. You also have the option, if you have open or boxes to open, you can grab them that way. But I want to show all the different ways that you can get all the epic catalysts. So now we needed 8 from here, correct? I believe it was total 16. If I'm wrong, I mean, guys, catalysts are super easy early game. Well, they're always easy. They're just kind of annoying and can be a stamina sink. But you'll get to a point where you won't stress about them, especially early game. You don't need to stress about them. Next up, go back to skill enhance. Skill 2, do this first. And skill 3, we're going to do this all the way down to the effect chance up. Okay. Once we do this, our Furious will be done and be able to use him permanently for Wyvern. The reason I didn't do Furious in the past was because of the fact that he uses Mologora. So that just sucked away 10 of our Mologoras. That is, again, basically 5,000 Skystone value that we just put into a character. But guess what? That is a permanent Wyvern character. We can always have a Wyvern 13 farm together now. Now, I want you to go in. Now we've built these characters. Make sure your Wyvern Hunt is selected here. Okay, guys? Make sure Wyvern Hunt is selected here. And then we're going to go start beating up Wyvern. Okay? Now we go to Hunt. Go to Wyvern. We do need to clear stage 7 again for that challenge, I believe. Actually, let's just clear all of them, and if it makes us come back and clear stage 7 for the Hunt challenge, we will do it. But for right now go to the Wyvern team I have set for you guys, and just hit start, and we'll see how it goes. Sometimes you may have to auto it multiple times. I'm going to come back whenever we get to Wyvern 12 and 13 and teach you guys the mechanics from there, and then we're going to be done. I'm going to show you a couple more things to work on this video. This is just going to be a shorter part. You guys wanted shorter parts. I'm just going to cover one thing at a time. Guess what? If I don't go and show every little click I do, it's not going to help as many people versus doing a shorter form, cutting to each thing. Maybe some people are going to miss out, and maybe I covered a couple extra things during this that will help you, but we'll be right back once I get to one of the higher wyverns. Okay, now we're going to be going into Wyvern 12. Again, any of the fights below Wyvern 10 or 11 are actually harder because it's random who the Wyvern attacks. I didn't fail any of them coming up to this point, but if you did fail any, just run it again. You don't lose any stamina for trying it. Just keep slamming it until it goes through. As long as your team looks pretty close to mine, you will be fine. If you're using a different character besides Mui, you're going to struggle a bit more, but again, I'll link that video. Hopefully you guys, when I go through, you can watch that part of the live stream. It's like a 30-minute segment. It'll teach you hopefully everything you possibly need to know of me going over stuff. Next up, we're going to go to Wyvern 12. Okay, this team should be able to full auto, but I want to talk about a few mechanics along the way and talk about why these characters are good. Okay, now Furious, the reason he's good is on his skill 3, he's going to be applying 2 debuffs if he lands them. 65% or 3 debuffs, as you saw right there, because I have the EE that gets blind. Okay, that's really big. You can land all 3 of those on Wyvern. What you need is you need to have 2 debuffs on Wyvern all the time to guarantee that the Wyvern will attack your front unit. If you only have 1 debuff on the Wyvern, once you get to Wyvern portion, it's random who they're going to attack, okay? That is bad. That creates a scenario where you lose consistency with your team and you will start doing getting some random fails. Okay. Now with Mui, as you see right here, every time the front character attacks, the reason we're all trying to get him, whenever the fight starts, you will always attack your front character. Luckily. Okay. From here though, hopefully you're going to be landing at least 3 debuffs on the Wyvern. So right there, there's 2 debuffs. So there we go. There's 2 debuffs. We're good to go. Now Mui has bleed chance on her skill 1 at a percentage chance. So there's always a chance he will land it. Also, whenever every other turn when your front character gets attacked, he will counterattack, being able to place attack down. That keeps your team alive and stacks an additional debuff. So as you see right here, we have a ton of debuffs. We know he's going to attack the front tank, and we're good to go. Crozet isn't even at half HP. And he's missing all of his attacks. But we're already back in the Fear, so we have a chance to land re-up all those debuffs already because Mui is pushing us so fast. Next up, our Cigarette probably is just about going to kill it here, but that is the power of this team, okay? We're already done. That's Wyvern 12. That's one of the harder Wyverns in the game. That fast, when you see my gear, it's very crappy, okay? This is not optimized gear in any way, but that is the overall team. Very, very simple. That's why I try to have you guys, again, summon a story summon, try to get Mui. If you already have Mui, fantastic. But Song of Stars artifact also is giving us an additional debuff, which is huge. So whenever we skill 3 here, there's 2 debuffs. I could have also landed the target debuff because of the artifact. If you don't have Song of Stars, it's fine. That's 1 less debuff that you have. That's a little bit less consistency on your character. Okay. Now, going through this, we should be able to full auto it, but if you're struggling, you can manual it. If you manual it, you have the ability, if it gets low, you can Arky, you can soul burn your Cigarette to get an additional attack. She gets an extra turn on this attack here if you soul burn it. So there's a bunch of things you can do to min-max to make sure you clear it, but Wyvern is very, very simple, and this is just a little fun detour in the guide, but to teach you the beginning of Wyvern. Again, we will not be farming this heavily, or really at all, until we get to about day 7 of the guide. I want you guys mainly focused on unrecorded history. So see right there, we don't have 65 effectiveness on Mui. It didn't land, but even if we had 65 effectiveness, there's a chance it will not land because there's a 15% chance not to hit your debuffs no matter what, even in PV, which is a terrible mechanic. We've been complaining about it since the release, but there's always going to be RNG. So you will very rarely be able to make a 100% consistent team for just about anything because of the fact until you're really late game and you can just power through damage. But the reasoning is because that 15% mechanic exists. So since we don't have that, it's either a mixture of I don't have enough effectiveness or I'm just getting super unlucky and not landing what I need to. So right there, we did get the 2 debuffs again, but we didn't get our target. So as you see, we didn't need Song of Stars. That's fine. And Cigarette attacks, it does a ton of damage. And then Mui lands a bleed. So there we go. We have our 3 debuffs. We're good until the next stage. And then bang, all of our teams getting pushed up because of Mui's passive. We're using all blue units. Always use all blue units. Don't try to do anything else as an early game player. You're just going to screw yourself. And then bang, we're done. That's all it is. There's Wyvern 13 done. It's that simple. Okay, guys? It's not a hard thing to do. All it takes is some knowledge and building your characters. I'll go ahead and go claim my rewards. We'll do our summons. And every one of those, even on the guide account with the other team of using Alexa, I beat them all first try. Okay? All it is about making sure you have the right stats and the right game plan going into it. Now, let's go ahead and grab our Hunt Challenge rewards. And now on this account, that team I could technically already farm with. But those of you guys that do not have all the characters that I have, or even if your front tank's different, Crozet doesn't matter. It's just about the MUI, okay? Whoever your front tank is for Wyvern isn't going to matter. Crozet, all he did there was keep us alive, but it can be any character in the game, and that is why we Grace of Growth them, okay? For the billionth time, that is why we Grace of Growth that front character, so we don't have to care about committing to whatever it is, and we can switch them later. This challenge here, again, was clear Wyvern 10 or higher 10 times. So if you have a team that isn't quite as optimized as mine, then you are going to want to go do Wyvern 11. But if you have the full team that I was just beating Wyvern with, then go ahead, go back to Wyvern, and then go to either Hunt 11 if you aren't confident with your team, or even if you are, this is just more consistent, it's going to be easier. But I'm going to go ahead and farm Wyvern 13 for my auto battles here. Actually, let's do a quick battle just to see how many times we beat it with this team, just for fun. I mean, it's not, I'm guessing 5 out of 10. There's 1, 2, 3. That's already higher. 4. Wait, there's a 50 drop, so you get reforged materials. The reason you farm Wyvern, by the way, guys, there's a fail. The reason you farm Wyvern, by the way, everybody, is because this is where you get your crafting materials to get the end game gear. All right, but now we go in and beat. Hey, that's 9 out of 10. Not bad. I'm going to go ahead and do another 10 run, though, because there are challenges later. Right now, if you guys could farm at least 30 of the Wyvern, of either Wyvern 11 or 13, if your team is fine, then just farm 30 of these. It'll make it to where you don't need to do anything later, and this is going to be efficient. And then we're going to move all our gear back on other characters, and then in a couple days, we'll have our story team, and we'll have enough gear to have our Wyvern team at the same time as having our story team. Okay, we have to min-max our gear at the beginning, and then eventually everything will just be geared. We don't have to move gear around for whatever. That one beat it all the time, so that's 19 out of 20. 19 out of 20, that is not bad. All right, but I'm just going to let it keep farming in the background too. I'm not going to use any of the stuff that we get. So if you are early game and you get any piece of gear that looks good while going through this, so we'll go through here. The biggest thing to be watching for is speed, but all of this is blue gear, and this does not have high rolls or anything else. But if you're ever curious, just sell your blue gear. Any purple or red gear you're curious on, you have the ability. I'm going to just not do anything with that yet. And then you can go and click and put it into your extra inventory. There's 200 spaces, but for right now, if you don't understand gear, there's no point to farm Wyvern. We don't have the charms to upgrade any of this stuff anyway, because we still have all this other gear. A lot of this is goblin gear I'm going to throw away, but we have all the other free gear that we could still upgrade. But we do not need to mess with any of that at all. Now that we're done with that, let's go do our Wyvern summoning session, and that's going to be it for this part of the guide. I'm trying to just do one part at a time. Next up, we're going to be progressing more, but this is just the quick first clear Wyvern portion of the guide series, which is going to be part 3. So now let's go into elemental summon. We have a bunch of different elemental summons that we could do. Actually, there's one more that is outside that we'll grab, but let's just go ahead and rip these ones. I'll go grab the last one real quick. All right, so there's a 4-star. So if you did not have MUI and you beat it with another character that's a duplicate Furious, that's fine. It gives us imprint. But if you do not have MUI, this is a chance to get some MUIs as well, which is also nice. So there's Corinne. I do have her Moonlight version on this account. I will feed that into her. That's just a 3-star. But this is a chance that maybe you can get the MUI, so where you can start building your permanent Wyvern team. We did not get any 5-stars. That's Angelica. We did not get any 5-stars. And that's fine. Those are the 3-stars. These are where you're hoping to get 5-stars. Okay, this has a very high chance of getting 5-star. But here we go. If you do get, say, Crozet and you're using Angelica, don't bother switching it. It doesn't matter. Whoever you committed to your first Wyvern front tank is all that we care about. The main character I want to see from this would be Brieg. And it's not Brieg, it's Elena. So, dude, I know every one of these characters. I played too many new accounts, guys. I've played too many new accounts. It's actually insane. I know every single character that's going to pop up pretty much. Okay, then we got Dominiel. So Elena is a good character. We are happy with that. But once you've gotten to this point, go ahead, come out, grab this. It's going to have you craft 10 pieces of level 85 Wyvern gear. Go into this mission. I usually just craft swords with this. So at the beginning, you can't extract equipment for a while. Just craft swords. They're they're pretty simple. I'll go over all of these. If you have any with speed, you're going to upgrade them. Otherwise, so this has 4 speed, this has 4 speed. We're going to check those and see if they're higher, sell all blues. And then if any other piece doesn't have overall perfect synergy or high rolls, so whenever you're looking at attack and effectiveness, the max is an 8 roll. If you're curious on max rolls on gear, you can kind of look at the goblin gear at the starting goblin gear. So the starting goblin gear, if you see any with attack, it's going to be 8. See any with effectiveness, it's going to be 8. See any with crit chance, it's going to be 5. So you can see this is already missing quite a bit of stat line, but these are both speed pieces, so I am going to go ahead and upgrade those. But since we can't extract, once you get to rank 55, I believe it is, we're going to be extracting everything as a new player that we're now upgrading. We won't be selling any gear. Everything will be extractions, so we'll go over why. But this is the normal gear upgrading process. So this piece is 8% attack and 4 speed. Those are 2 max rolls. So we'll go ahead and just see if we hit speed or a high roll. So there's some speed. If it doesn't get high enough speed, I'll have a gear guide out, hopefully within the next few days. That's a max roll. This actually isn't a bad piece of gear for a new player so far. It was upgraded again for fun. I don't need to be super efficient. And there's effectiveness. So technically, this is everything you need for like a Mui, any kind of Wyvern character. You don't need to be super picky on some of your early gear that you do upgrade, but you don't want to upgrade trash. So the less gear you upgrade until you understand, the better. So this piece, I'm only checking for speed because the other parts suck. I'm gonna go ahead and sell it. And then this one is one that just dropped for Wyvern. It's not very good, so I'll sell it. Now, we are done with that portion. I can go out and claim the rewards from it. And we'll do one last summon that we just grabbed. The next challenge is going to be Clear Expedition 2 times. I'll get into that in the next part of the guide, okay? I'm not going to cover that now. Let's just go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys have any questions or are curious on if your team, the stats look fine, the gear looks fine, the Discord, guys, the Discord, take pictures of your characters, post them in there. Someone will tell you whether they're good or not. Okay, we've helped, I don't even tens of thousands of people get through Wyvern on a new account at this point, at least beating the first stage. And once you get your permanent Wyvern team, then we'll help you min-max all your stat lines and everything. And of course, another Dominion. Okay, and I'm going to rip one last 10 summon on story trying to get a Sari here. Please say it's her. It's another Song of Stars. I've got a Juice Song of Stars. Holy cow. Wait, no, that can't be her. Another Zerato. Okay, another Song of Stars, which is actually good. Anytime you're summoning a banner, even though it takes a while to get them, as long as you're getting the artifact you're aiming for on that banner, pretty solid. So I'm almost to pity. But that is going to be it for this portion of the guide. Next portion of the guide, we're going to be, hopefully you guys also, real quick, couple things, go in, make sure if there's any aid, donate, because we want to try to get tamarrine. I'm not going to utilize tamarrine until for a little bit, but you do want to get tamarrine. You can't get her until after you beat chapter 3 anyway. Other than that, I believe that's all we need to cover for this, but go in, make sure you're getting all your tamarrine stuff. As you see, I'm only 1 aid away now. Big. So I just need to do one more, and then once we beat chapter 2, which is going to be the next video, we're going to be able to purchase Bittersweet Desert Festival, clear all that, then we get our free tamarrine, and she's going to be our new PvE Soul Weaver, where Destina stays our PvP Soul Weaver. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. Part 4, I'm working on it right now. Hopefully it'll be up in a couple hours. Have a good rest of your day, or have a good day until the next part of the guide. Peace out.